So if you've ever felt, just totally fatigued by fantasy shows where the hero mutters some pseudo-Latin word and boom, effortlessly blasts a fireball, today's deep dive is going to feel like a massive breath of fresh air for you.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a completely different vibe.
Right. We are exploring a recent article that's celebrating the Season 2 announcement of the anime Hat Atelier. And just to set the baseline, the story follows Coco, who is this outsider full of wide-eyed wonder, and her mysterious, kind of brooding mentor, Qifrey.
Yeah, that dynamic is really the core of it all.
Exactly. But our mission today isn't just to, hype up a sequel. We want to show you why this returning series is, it's really a triumph for high-concept fantasy and artist-driven storytelling.
Yeah, and to understand why it's a triumph, we really have to look at how the series completely redefines power. In a lot of stories, magic is just a genetic lottery. You either have the right bloodline or you just don't.
Right. Or it's like a stat-based system that you can just game somehow.
Exactly. But in this world, magic is a fiercely demanding, sacred art form. It is achieved entirely through the meticulous application of magical ink to parchment.
Okay, let's unpack this, because mastering magic here is less like waking up with a superpower and more like, enduring the grueling process of mastering classical painting or maybe high-level calligraphy.
That is a really great comparison, actually.
Yeah, because if your line is like a millimeter off or the geometry is skewed in any way, the spell just fails outright.
Or, it misfires disastrously, the effort required is intensely physical and, incredibly precise.
And what's crazy about that? The physical toll on these characters drawing the magic is basically a one-to-one reflection of the poor animators at the studio having to actually draw this show.
Oh, it truly is a Herculean task. The original creator, Kamome Shirahama, has a very distinct art style. It's heavily defined by flowing garments, tactile textures, and incredibly intricate cross-hatching.
Oh, you mean like those dense networks of tiny overlapping lines that artists use to create shadow?
Exactly. That's the one.
Right. And translating that into animation sounds terrifying. Usually animators have to simplify character designs, right? Because in animation, every frame is drawn by hand.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with details.
Right. So if you have to redraw thousands of tiny intersecting lines 24 times a second, it usually turns into this jittery, boiling mess on screen.
It does. It is incredibly difficult to maintain that level of static detail and motion, but, the studio actually pulls it off.
Wow.
Yeah, they managed to capture the friction of the nib on the paper and the visceral glow of the magic circle taking shape completely without losing that original texture.
So it really becomes a moving painting. That is, it's a total treat for Sakuga enthusiasts, the viewers who actively look for that high-quality, fluid animation.
Definitely. But what's really fascinating here is that the visual beauty of the animation isn't just window dressing. It actually actively masks the much darker reality of their world.
Oh, right, because the article notes that Season 2 is set to focus heavily on a shadowy group called the Brimmed Caps. So who are they exactly?
They are radical mages who completely reject the draconian laws set by the Magical Council. See, the council tightly controls who gets to learn magic and what kinds of spells are allowed. And they claim it is strictly to prevent catastrophic misuse.
Wait, but isn't that just convenient gatekeeping? It sounds like the council is hoarding power and just using safety as an excuse to keep the lower classes out.
That's a very valid way to look at it, yeah.
And since Coco's an outsider who basically forced her way into this elite magical world, she kind of acts as our lens for this whole conflict, right?
That is the core of it, yes. It pushes the narrative way past whimsical discovery. It becomes a profound, incredibly dangerous moral test. Does keeping secrets for the greater good actually justify maintaining an exclusionary society?
Wow, that's heavy.
It is. The brimmed caps represent a fundamental challenge to that status quo. So Coco's innocence is going to be battered by a society that is nowhere near as beautiful as the spells it casts.
And that is exactly why this show is worth your time as a viewer. It proves you just don't need a cheap power fantasy to keep an audience hooked. There's a massive hunger for intelligent storytelling that doesn't talk down to its audience, right?
Absolutely. Storytelling that respects the craft of both the magic in the universe and the animation on the screen.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it champions the beauty of the effort itself.
I love that. So what does this all mean for you? Well, we'll leave you with a completely different angle to ponder.
Go for it.
Think back to that strict system of ink and parchment we just talked about. If limitless power in this world isn't about genetics, but is simply a matter of drawing perfect geometry on paper with the right ink, well, what happens to this carefully controlled society the day someone invents the printing press?